Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, at that time as well, education was full ramped. We got the GCSEs out of the way really early on. I'd gotten them, or passed all them, all above C's. That's all sorted. Welsh was another one we got as well. I got a B in Welsh, I think.
Okay.
I've got them somewhere. I've got a big sheet I'm happy with.
And when was the process? So you got your university place, your offer. Did you have that all set up before you left?
Yes, we've been setting that up, and the house gave a lot of support, and especially school gave a lot of support with that, in the sense of applying, going through the forms, and remember that life skills?
Yeah.
Going through the forms with that around like your UCAS application, your student finance application, getting stuff like the driver's license fully, because at that point I didn't quite have a driver's license, because we had loads of issues around getting a birth certificate and stuff like that. But we were going through the process of what do we need to do to get these things. And it helped me really learn a lot then on how you fill out forms and sort of what information you put in. And we got all that sorted out. And we had, what did we have? So we had we gave 5 different offers. One of them we got an unconditional on, but sadly that fell through, and that was with Aberystwyth University.
Okay. Did you have a preference?
It was going to be Aberystwyth
okay.
as well. We had everything set up. We'd had an unconditional offer off them. So we accepted it.
Because it was a good course, or because it's by the coast, or because it was in Wales? What was your favourite?
All of that.
Yeah.
But mainly because it's unconditional, but also we went for the open day, and I just loved the place, because I grew up in Anglesey.
Okay.
It's a really rural place, and I thought Aberystwyth felt like home for me then. I was like, I like this place.
Yeah.
Sadly, things fell through with them around the sort of the health and safety and stuff involving sort of reasons for being in care and having to
some nervousness about some of the historical stuff.
Yeah. And sadly, they withdrew their thing after we'd accepted it, and we had there was a big then of, hold on, and this was very close to leaving as well. This was within the month of leaving care, around, well, where do we go now then? And luckily, we had to do a lot of talking with UCAS to them to basically revert it from an acceptance. So luckily, because otherwise it would have had to go into as if into clearing, which would be very difficult then, because it would have mean other issues. But also we needed to know for a few weeks beforehand where we were going.
Yeah, I was going to say, because with clearing, it's that not knowing, and I suppose in your situation, needing to think about. It's not just about the university place, is it? It's about the accommodation and the support, and you need the one nailed down so that you can plan the rest.
Yeah, we were getting that sorted, and luckily we managed to go back a step and get all our other offers were still standing, and we went to Salford and Manchester University, and we said, right, let's look at Manchester as a place. In Manchester, we have Manchester Met, and we have Salford as well as the University of Manchester. But I applied for Met and Salford.
Yeah.
Both at the same grading. I could have gone to either. And they were conditional offers in that I got so many UCAS points. Yeah. And I chose, in the end, after getting my grades, I chose Salford because I was quite close. I was closer to there where I was living.
Yeah.
But we made plans then for Manchester. And this is where things yet again got difficult with social services, because my social worker and where my social services were based, the team that was working with me was still back in Anglesey, because Wrexham's social services refused to take on to transfer it over.
Yeah.
So everything had to stay. So social worker was in Anglesey, and at the time they were very busy with things going on, and it was very difficult trying to work with a social worker around getting them to look at accommodation, getting them to start making decisions on what they want to do with me, so that I can then go, okay, these are the options I have.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest issues we had with them was funding for the flat. Because to leave care, you've got no money realistically. Student finance hasn't started because obviously you're not in university.
Yeah.
and there's no chance you're going to be able to get money off benefits to start off that, because living in Manchester is quite expensive, and we needed to get a deposit.
So the idea was that you were going to be moving into your accommodation like earlier in the summer, and then physically enrolling in university sort of mid to late September. So
yes,
you would have been in your new accommodation for a few weeks.
Yeah, and due to my circumstances, it had to be somewhere that was a fixed address.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? So they were suggesting stuff like hostels, and then we had other people going, no, that won't work. And then social services sort of throwing their hands up in the air and going, oh, we can't do anything then. And they put very little effort into actually trying to do anything at all. To be fair, most of the work was done by me in Woodlands. But we did
just to ask something about, and please feel free not to answer.
Yeah, no.
So, did you have any kind of restrictions attached to you because of your in terms of where you might be able to live and not live and those sorts of things?
Yes, I did, and that's what brought the difficulties around with sort of having
a bit more complicated. Yeah. Okay, I've got you.
So we were talking with trying to get social services, and it wasn't so much the social worker that was the issue. It was the person above the social worker who's got to allocate money, who allocates what goes on, who was putting a lot of stops in things and going, no, we're not. It was the same person who had the issue with the funding beforehand, and we were telling them we need to get money from somewhere, otherwise this person will go homeless otherwise. And I think we had 3 days before I left that we actually confirmed that we'd gotten the place and that I can move in.
That must have been so stressful.
Yes,
I can't even.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sad to say that I hear this a lot, and I've involved in supporting young people with exactly these sorts of issues, and so I know how rubbish it is, but I can't. It's hard to try and really understand exactly what it's like in your shoes, because that.
Yeah. I did.
I mean, it's.
I don't know if you know, but I work with Social Care Wales. I'm on the part of something called the Expert Reference Group for Residential Care.
Okay.
We did a conference in February. It was an online conference, and we had one of the modules that we did workshops. We had 3 workshops, different aspects, and I hosted one of them with someone from Voices for Care Wales.
Yes, yeah.
It's all about talking about leaving residential care experiences, what went well, what didn't go so well. I talked all about this, and you've seen a lot of sort of sympathy from the crowd afterwards as talking to people, but them as well going, we see this more often than we should in residential care, and it seems to be coming from the same direction as well. It's around funding and social services being partially overworked, but as well being restricted in other ways.
Okay.
And there's a lot of recognition of this is an issue, and hopefully we're looking at sort of working with that and improving it.
So how did it work for you? So I mean, thankfully at the 11th hour, everything clicked into place. How was when it came to the actual moment of moving, or literally moving? What was that like? Because that's a kind of an ending, a saying goodbye. You're physically moving. You're leaving the house that you've been in. The relationships that you've had with those people are clearly going to change because you're moving on to a new chapter in your life. What was that? How was that marked, I suppose? And what was it?
So how
did you deal with it?
So I'd say let's go look at the last month. So at the start of that month, I had my A-levels. So the test had fit. We were getting the tests then. And we were having we had our last LAC meeting, we had our last, the smaller meetings were called TAC meetings, Team Around the Child.
Yeah.
Because LAC is Look After a Child, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's what our smaller meetings were, and we brought onto the topics of, going, you've done so well in your A-levels and working through everything and through therapy, you progressed so much, and we're looking at all sorts of different rewards. And one of them was that holiday to Jersey. They said, you've told us before you've never been in the plane, we feel we want to do this for you. And me and one staff member went to Jersey for the weekend. It was brilliant.
Amazing.
It was a really sunny weekend as well.